The Galactic Union was a collection of over 100 alien species. They claimed to believe in peace, trade, and unity. When Earth discovered faster than light travel, they welcomed humanity with smiles and promises. Thought at first, Earth was careful. Humans had survived their own violent history and didn't trust easily. But when the Union helped stop a deadly plague on Mars and shared energy tech to restore Earth's dying oceans, humans began to believe in friendship. Within 10 years, Earth joined the Union officially. Human scientists shared their discoveries. Human engineers helped improve spaceports. Human ships patrolled dangerous sectors to protect merchant routes. The galaxy praised Earth's rise, but behind closed doors, the Union feared what they had let in. Humans were from a death world. A place full of storms, predators, volcanoes, and endless war. While the other species evolved in comfort, humans evolved through pain, survival, and struggle. They advanced quickly, learned fast, and never forgot a threat. Some on the council whispered, "They smile now, but what happens when they become stronger than us?" So plans were made. The Union invited Earth to a joint mission, an exploration task force to investigate a new star system. It was a trap. The human fleet, 7 ships, including the cruiser Frontier Dawn, was surrounded by Union ships. Once it arrived, they didn't fire at first. Instead, the Union's flagship broadcast a simple message: humanity has grown too fast. For the safety of the galaxy, you will be removed. Without warning, the Union ships opened fire. The Frontier Dawn was the only ship to escape, heavily damaged. Half its crew was dead. The rest fought to stay alive as they limped back toward the Sol system. They knew the Union would declare Earth as missing in action. They would tell the galaxy that humans had vanished in a tragic accident. The rest of the species would accept it. No questions asked. But Earth didn't mourn. Earth didn't cry. It watched. For 3 weeks, Earth said nothing. No messages. Number, broadcasts. Just silence. Some Union leaders were confused. Why no response? Others relaxed. Maybe the humans are scared. One council leader even joked, maybe they realized we're in charge now. But deep beneath Earth's surface, in a hidden command center under Antarctica, something ancient was waking. It wasn't a weapon. Not exactly. It was a program called Echo Storm, a final response plan designed for betrayal. Built during Earth's first week inside the Union, just in case the galaxy ever turned on them, a signal was sent through secure channels. Old commanders were recalled. Retired captains returned to duty. War factories on the moon restarted production. No press release. No official announcement. Only one message was broadcast in Earth's most secure military network. We do not forgive betrayal. Prepare for final operations. Humanity knew how to build alliances. But more than that, it knew how to end them. On Mars, silent fleets powered up in old underground hangars. Stealth ships coated with reflective armor launched without lights. They didn't appear on Union radar. They didn't send signals. They simply vanished into deep space. Earth's leaders sat in a dark chamber, looking at stars on a screen. One general, older than most, leaned forward and whispered, "They made a mistake thinking we'd beg." They'd forgotten what Deathworlders do when they're cornered. The rest nodded. And then, from across the galaxy, a Union patrol ship vanished near a quiet moon. The Union blamed pirates, but Earth didn't say a word. They didn't have to. The countdown had begun. Asterisk after the ambush. The Galactic Union expected Earth to react with fear or confusion, but instead Earth went quiet. Completely quiet. No messages came from Earth's government. No news channels shared updates. No human ambassadors answered calls. It was as if the entire planet had gone dark. From orbit, Earth looked calm, normal, even. But deep scanners showed something else. Cities had reduced power output. Satellite signals dropped. Civilian traffic vanished from spaceports. Union spies hiding on Earth reported strange activities. Factories that had been shut down were working again, day and night. Military personnel, long retired, were seen boarding shuttles to secret bases. One spy sent a final report. They're preparing for something. I don't know what. but everyone on Earth is moving with purpose. It's not panic. It's coordination. After that, the spy vanished. No one ever heard from him again, in the shadows of Saturn's rings. A hidden fleet called Echo Squadron began launch sequences. These were not public ships. They had no names, no records, and no lights. They ran silently. Unseen by Union sensors, each ship was equipped with prototype stealth tech coated in special materials that bent light, blocked scans, and masked power signatures. These vessels had been designed for only one purpose: revenge. The command ship, Phantom 1, received the first directive. Begin Echo Storm, no communication, no mercy, no survivors from betrayal. The captains didn't ask questions. They just moved. Meanwhile, the Union Council met in their homeworld. One tall, insect-like member clicked its jaws. Earth is hiding. This proves they are weak. Another, a soft-skinned aquatic being, shook its head slowly. Or, they are? Waiting. Deathworlders don't cry. They strike when you least expect. The others laughed. Let them hide. They cannot defeat the entire Union. They believed Earth was broken. They had no idea what was coming. On Earth's moon, engineers activated Project Ironwake. It was an old system, a hidden archive of war drones and self-replicating defense units. Long kept offline under peace treaties. Now, Earth broke the treaties. No more negotiations. No more patience. The age of trusting aliens was over. In underground chambers, officers gathered. A woman in a black uniform looked at the holographic map. Red dots marked every Union world that had signed the order to betray Earth. She spoke quietly. These are not just enemies. They are cowards who shook our hand, then stabbed our back. The room stayed silent. She raised her hand. Operation? Black Echo is active. Target only those engulfed. Let the galaxy see what happens when you cross humanity. Out in deep space, Union scout ships started to go missing. One disappeared near the border of Orion Sector. Another was found drifting, crew gone, with only the ship's AI repeating one strange word over and over. Run, run, run. Some thought it was a glitch. Some thought it was a warning. But the Council still didn't take it seriously. They believed Earth was trying to scare them. They were wrong. On a cold mining moon in neutral space, a group of alien workers looked up and saw a strange object entering the sky. It was a ship. Sleek, dark, and silent. It had no visible markings, but its shape was not like any Union design. Then it hovered. A voice came from it. In every known galactic language, clear and calm, this is your only warning. Your leaders betrayed Earth. You should run. Then, the ship vanished. The message spread like wildfire. First as rumor. Then, as panic, even species not part of the betrayal began to worry. What if Earth didn't stop with revenge? What if Earth wanted to destroy the entire Union? Suddenly, Union planets started sending messages, offering peace, asking to negotiate. But Earth didn't answer. Not yet. Earth had waited in silence. Now. The silence would break with fire. Asterisk, the Galactic Union continued its normal business. Trade routes were open. Fleets patrolled borders. Council members gave speeches about peace and unity. But in the shadows, fear had started to grow. Ships were disappearing. A science vessel near the Helix cluster went silent. A cargo fleet transporting fuel to the outer sectors was found drifting. Every crew member missing. No signs of damage. No distress calls. Only one thing was left behind. A small metal panel. Placed carefully on the bridge of the lead ship, and had one word etched into it. Run. Union officials ignored the warnings. They called it pirate activity. They blamed malfunctioning systems. They even suggested humans were sabotaging their own ships to create fear. The Council refused to believe that Earth could be responsible. Even if they are behind it, one council leader said. There's only one world. What can one species do? But not all were so blind. An old admiral from the Brex species requested an emergency meeting with the Council. He had studied humanity for years, fought beside them, saw what they were truly capable of. He entered the chamber and stared down every council member. You made a mistake. he said. You thought the humans would beg. You thought they would break. But you forgot. They are Death Worlders. The chamber was silent. If they are doing this, he continued, it means they have already chosen war. And you won't see it coming until your sky burns. Still, the council laughed. We'll send more patrols, bigger fleets. Earth can't hide forever. They didn't understand. Earth wasn't hiding. Earth was hunting. In the outskirts of the Union, in the cold reaches of space, strange objects began to appear. They looked like satellites, but weren't. They looked like probes, but didn't move like them. They stayed in orbit above key planets, completely. Silent. Invisible to most sensors, but just visible enough to be seen by someone looking closely. Then they began to speak. One by one. The devices activated. Every screen, every comms tower, every digital billboard lit up with the same signal. You chose betrayal. You will not choose survival. Run. The Union panicked. Leaders demanded answers. Military ships were launched to destroy the devices. But for each one destroyed, another 2 appeared elsewhere. The message spread faster than light. And then came the first strike. A Union shipyard orbiting the world of Glarn was vaporized. It was one of the largest military factories in the galaxy. Protected by automated turrets, security drones, and a defense fleet of 30 warships. None of it mattered. In less than 5 minutes. It was gone. Survivors on the planet saw black shadows fall from orbit. No one could trace where they came from. A single recording was recovered from the shipyard's last functioning camera. It showed a human warship sleek. Black and silent, moving past wreckage, leaving without a sound. The hull bore no name. No markings, but across the destroyed station walls, someone had left a message burned into steel. Run. Now, even the council couldn't deny the truth. Earth is attacking, one member shouted. Why won't they speak to us? Another asked. Because we already spoke, the old admiral replied, grimly. When we betrayed them, Union commanders scrambled to protect their borders. Defense systems were activated. Fleets were called back from outer missions. Emergency shields were placed around major planets. But it was too late. The humans had already moved past their defenses. They weren't attacking from the front. They were already inside in one outer colony. A population center with 500,000. Residents lost power. Moments later, every building collapsed. Not from explosion, but from internal sabotage. Cameras caught a single figure walking through the smoke. Human armor, a glowing blue visor, a voice modulator. They said only one thing. Before vanishing, run. Across the galaxy, fear spread faster than fire. It wasn't just that Earth was striking back. It was that Earth was doing it without warning, without emotion, and without asking for anything. There were no demands. No negotiations. Only silence. And the word repeated again and again. Run. Asterisk, the Galactic Union had never known true war. They had seen small conflicts, border skirmishes, trade disputes, rebellions on distant moons, but nothing like this, because this wasn't war. This was surgical extinction. Earth didn't send warnings. It didn't issue ultimatums. It didn't speak to the press or the council. It just moved fast, silent, and precise. Every target Earth struck had one thing in common. It had signed the Betrayal Pact. One by one. Union military stations, fuel, depots, and command centers turned to ash. Not through chaos, but with cold, controlled violence. And every time, the only trace left behind was the same. Run. On the edge of Union space, a small ice planet called Velen 5 held one of the Union's key communication hubs. Buried under ice, guarded by 10,000 troops. It was thought to be untouchable, but Earth found it. A single human stealth ship entered the orbit without detection. Seconds later, underground tunnels collapsed. Power generators melted. The entire base lost contact with the rest of the galaxy. Union reinforcements arrived 2 hours later, only to find a crater at the center. A large flag stood tall. Not Earth's flag, but a black banner with white letters. Burned into it, You had your chance, now you run. Earth had released its monsters, not beasts. Not machines, humans, special units trained for decades, enhanced with cybernetics, and raised in silence. They had no homes, no names, only missions. They didn't seek glory. They didn't brag. They didn't speak. They appeared, completed the task, and vanished again. Some in the galaxy began calling them ghostwalkers. One survivor, a Union captain, said with shaking hands, "I saw one. Just one. It walked through fire. It didn't even look at us. It just pointed, and then everything exploded." On Earth, citizens watched the news calmly. They weren't celebrating. They weren't afraid. They simply nodded. They had been betrayed. Now the galaxy was learning what it meant to awaken a death world. No human leader stood up to scream revenge. No angry mobs. Just unity. Every human knew the message. You betrayed us. Now we respond. Even children knew the word. Run, they whispered as they played in schoolyards. The Union began to fall apart. Allies turned on each other. Afraid of being targeted, neutral planets started closing their gates, blocking Union ships from entry. They didn't want it to be. Next. Council leaders argued. Some wanted to beg Earth for forgiveness. Others wanted to retaliate. But retaliate with what? Their fleets were being hunted. Their stations were burning. Their spies had vanished. In a desperate move, the Union sent one last diplomatic ship toward Earth. It carried envoys from 5 major species. They broadcast messages in every language. Apologies, pleas, promises of peace. As they neared Earth's system, a human vessel appeared. It didn't fire. Instead, it sent back a simple transmission, just 5 seconds long. One word. Run. Then the human ship vanished. Moments later, the diplomatic vessel was surrounded. Dozens of human stealth cruisers uncloaked, circling like wolves, but they didn't attack. They simply recorded. The envoys were allowed to leave, but only to spread the message. Earth speaks no more. You had your chance. The answer is run. Back on Earth, a final key was turned. In the shadows of Jupiter's orbit, a hidden ship powered up. It had never flown before. It wasn't in a Union. Records. Project silence. The ship was longer than a city. Its hull was black like space. Its engines quiet as death. It didn't carry missiles. It carried fear wherever it appeared. Entire systems went dark. It had one job: to remind the galaxy what happens when you betray Earth. And when it moved, the stars seemed to vanish behind it. The galaxy had laughed at Earth, mocked its kindness, feared its strength, then betrayed its trust. Now they had only one choice. Run. Asterisk. The galaxy was no longer united. The Galactic Union was falling apart fast. Entire sectors stopped responding. Communication hubs went silent. Key trade routes shut down. The stars that once glowed with activity now looked empty. But they weren't empty. They were watching. Human warships didn't always attack. Sometimes they just appeared in orbit, stayed silent for hours, then vanished. No shots fired. No words spoken. But that was enough. Governors fled their capitals. Civilian transports overloaded. Entire populations ran without even seeing a human. Some alien races tried to surrender. One planetary leader sent out a message. We did not vote to betray Earth. We protested. Please don't strike us. No answer came, but no attack followed either. The humans were watching. They knew who had betrayed them and who had not. Others weren't so lucky. The planet. Tragus 4 had been one of the loudest supporters of the betrayal vote. Its leader had once said, "If we remove Earth now, we'll save ourselves later." That leader no longer existed. Tragus 4 was wiped from space in 4 minutes. No one saw the attack. No one heard a weapon. The planet simply turned to dust. A message was found in its orbit, written in glowing red letters. Run. At the heart of the Union, panic ruled. The Council tried to hold emergency meetings, but most members had gone into hiding. A few dared to speak publicly. We must contact Earth. We must make peace. But peace was no longer possible. They hadn't just attacked ships. They hadn't just betrayed an ally. They had stabbed a friend in the back. And now, Earth would make sure no one forgot it. The old admiral, the one who had warned them, stood in the ruins of the council chamber. He was tired, sad. They gave us a chance, he whispered. They gave us 10 years of peace. We destroyed it. A younger officer nearby looked at him. What do we do now? The admiral looked to the stars. You run. On one distant moon, a group of scientists watched a black ship land. They didn't resist. They simply waited. The ship's ramp opened. A tall human stepped out, armored in silent gray. No weapon in hand. He walked forward and said only one thing. Your species did not vote. You are not on the list. Then he turned and left. The scientists cried with relief, but the message was clear. Humanity was exact. It did not destroy blindly. It remembered every name. Neutral planets began to offer help to fleeing Union citizens. We're not part of your war, they said. But even they were nervous because no one knew what Earth's final move would be. Some whispered. Earth had built a new kind of weapon, a device that could erase systems. Others believed Earth would take over the Union and rule it, but humans didn't send soldiers to occupy. They sent silence. One by one, Union military fleets stopped moving, not because of orders, but because their captains refused to die for leaders. Who had caused this mess? They parked their ships in safe orbit and waited. Even the most loyal commanders now said the same thing. We're not fighting Death Worlders. Not anymore. Back on Earth, humanity watched quietly. They didn't cheer. They didn't celebrate. There were no parades. Just silence. Revenge was not a victory. It was a lesson. A message to the stars. We offered peace. You chose betrayal. Now you learn what fear truly is. The stars had changed. Where once the Galactic Union had ruled, now only fragments remained, and everywhere. From abandoned stations to drifting beacons, one word echoed. Run. And the burned remains of the Galactic Union. Silence was everywhere. The once busy skies were empty. Starports stood abandoned. Councils that once debated for hours had vanished without a sound. And across the galaxy, survivors whispered a new phrase, passed from ship to ship, planet to planet. Earth does not forgive. Those who had once mocked humanity were gone, their names erased, their systems reduced to floating debris. And still, Earth never spoke. No speeches, no broadcasts, no public statements, only wreckage, and a single word left behind, scorched into metal walls, etched into craters, written in glowing plasma. Run. On a dusty moon in Sector 9, a small Union outpost received a visitor. It wasn't a ship. It was a drone. Black, spherical, and silent. The outpost commander ordered it destroyed before they could fire. It projected a hologram of the Earth, a rotating blue planet, then a voice played. Calm, cold, in perfect translation for all species. We know every name that signed the betrayal order. You had a choice. You chose dishonor. This is not war. This is removal. Run. Then the drone exploded, harmlessly. Only a puff of smoke remained. The commander didn't sleep again. Even species who had been allies of Earth now walked in fear. Not because they were targets, but because they knew what humans were. Truly capable of humanity had not conquered. It had not colonized. It had not demanded payment. It had simply removed the threat. And in doing so, it had rewritten the laws of power in the galaxy. One historian, hiding in an old cargo freighter, began writing a book. Its title, When Kindness Was Misread, The Human Lesson. She wrote, we saw Earth as strange, strong, yes, but hopeful. They reached out to us with open hands. We took their hand. Then we cut it off. And they came back, not with anger, but with precision, with silence, with judgment. Now the galaxy has changed, and those who remain teach their young a simple rule: never betray the Death Worlders. In a refugee station orbiting a dead star, a group of aliens gathered around an old monitor. A small child, barely old, enough to be pointed at the image of a human soldier walking through the wreckage of a city. The child whispered in fear. What did they want? No one answered, because the truth was too painful. Earth hadn't wanted control. Earth didn't seek to own systems, build empires, or gather slaves. They only wanted respect. And when they were denied it, when their trust was shattered, they didn't ask again. They responded with total silence and total fire. The remains of the Galactic Council sat in a ruined chamber, lit only by emergency lights. 5 members survived. None dared speak above a whisper. One of them broke down, shaking. We had peace. We had progress. Why did we ruin it? No one answered. Another muttered, maybe they were too strong for us. The oldest survivor, scarred and worn, looked up slowly. No, he said. We were too weak to understand what strength really was. Human ships no longer attacked. The strikes had ended, but fear remained more powerful than any weapon. Because now, every species understood something new. Earth didn't need to fire anymore. Its silence was enough. Just the possibility of human judgment could break a planet. Just the memory of a single word could shatter courage. That word echoed in space stations, in escape pods, in abandoned cities. Run, and then one day a new signal came from Earth. It was short, cold, but different. Retaliation complete. We will not speak again unless challenged. This galaxy is now corrected. The signal ended. Human ships vanished once more into the stars. Got no demands. No orders. Just silence. Peace returned, but not the peace the Union had known before. This was a peace born from fear. A quiet, careful peace. Every council that formed afterward remembered what had happened. And they built statues, not to heroes, but to warnings. At the entrance of the largest refugee world, a giant metal sculpture showed a human hand, open, extended in peace. Below it, a message. They offered friendship. We gave them betrayal. They replied with one word: run. Years passed. The stars still burned bright. Trade resumed across sectors. New alliances formed between the surviving species. But something had changed forever. There was no longer a galactic union. There was no longer a central council. There was only order, and order maintained not by rules, but by memory. Everyone remembered what happened when Earth was betrayed. And no one dared forget. On a floating city orbiting a quiet sun, a group of young alien cadets were trained in diplomacy. Their instructor, an old, soft-spoken alien with pale gray eyes, pointed to a screen showing the Earth. Never lie to them, he said. Never cheat them. Never mistake their silence for weakness. The students nodded, silent. If you ever meet a human in a dark corridor, offer your name. Offer peace. Offer respect. He paused, then added, and if you've wronged them, ... He tapped the screen once. Run. Earth had not joined any new council. That had not expanded its territory. It had not taken control of any planets. Instead, it had returned to silence. Its borders were closed. Its communications restricted. No ships entered without permission. But its fleet still existed, somewhere in the dark, waiting, watching. And the galaxy knew that if Earth moved again, it wouldn't ask questions. Some brave explorers still traveled near human space, hoping to learn more. Most returned with stories of strange, massive structures, silent stations floating in asteroid belts, guarded by weapons never seen before. Others never returned at all. And those who did always said the same thing. They didn't speak to us, but they saw us. And that was enough. One day, a signal was picked up from deep space. Not a threat, not a warning, just a message sent in every galactic language. A soft voice, human, speaking with calm certainty. Peace is possible, but trust is not free. We gave you our hand. You took it and tried to break it. Now we will remain apart until the stars forget. We are watching, not ruling, not threatening, just remembering. Then silence. A new generation of leaders took power across the stars. They didn't wear medals. They didn't speak of conquest. They spoke of caution. Their laws included one special rule taught in schools, printed in books, passed down like holy words. Humanity is not our enemy. but never let them become one. Back on Earth, life continued quietly. Children played in green fields under blue skies. Factories built ships, but not for war, for defense. Leaders walked among the people. There were no kings, no emperors, just guardians. They remembered the betrayal, they remembered the silence, and they promised never to be caught. Unprepared again, Dot in a quiet room deep beneath Earth's surface, a large screen showed a map of the galaxy. Thousands of blinking dots lit up ships, bases, satellites. A general stood before it, arms crossed. Status? Yes, a voice answered calmly. Stable, no threats, no violations. The general nodded. He turned off the screen, and in the dark, he whispered, "Let them keep their peace. We've made our point." The galaxy moved on. World rebuilt. Trade resumed. Stars birthed new life. But Earth became a shadow, a legend. A word that meant more than a planet. It meant danger. It meant respect. It meant memory. And carved into the heart of every council chamber in every corner of the galaxy was a plaque, not to honor Earth's power, not to praise its strength, but to remind those who followed what betrayal brings. It read, "They gave peace, we gave betrayal." They said one word, "Run." The end, asterisk,